Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew dropping their titles of Duke and Duchess of York is actually like so hopecore for me. Like, I love to see this. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew and like some adjacent people, because I've talked about Sarah Ferguson before, but I think we should just like zero in for a second in honor of the public finally actually looking at this woman for who she really is. So for anyone who's not familiar, Sarah Ferguson married Prince Andrew, the younger brother of King Charles III, in 1986, and the couple would go on to have 2 little girls together. But Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew would separate in 1992, and they would officially divorce in 1996. Since divorcing, Sarah, Prince Andrew, and their daughters have all lived under one roof. So while they've technically been divorced for many, many years, they have lived in a traditional family dynamic. It's just also really important to understand like the dynamic of Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson is these people had a reputation for partying hard. This is a photo of Prince Andrew leaving a nightclub at 2 a.m. back in 2000. Look at those eyes. Okay. Their royal titles never slowed them down from letting them party hard. They definitely grew a reputation. They were known to party alongside their daughters at nightclubs, on yachts with celebrities, at P. Diddy's parties. And I don't know about you guys, but the revelations that have just recently come out about Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson's loyalty and longevity of relationship to Giuffre really doesn't surprise me at all. Why? Because when Virginia Giuffre brought legal action against Prince Andrew, who was Prince Andrew's loudest advocate and supporter of his innocence? Sarah Ferguson, his ex-wife. From the beginning, Sarah Ferguson told everyone, told the world that Virginia Giuffre was a liar.
I don't understand in this day and age how people can make salacious lies up and how the media actually then write about it and then follow on with it, because I just don't understand. This is defamation of character. It is just shockingly accusatory lies, which I won't stand by and let anybody believe.
Was it hurt, your first reaction, or anger?
Total fury. We will not be defeated. We are impenetrable, and that we will show by success.
Sarah Ferguson wasn't the only one. She created this little like legion, this like middle-aged woman girl gang who've all teamed up in order to clear the names of multiple different co-conspirators, including Prince Andrew, while discrediting, blaming, and shaming the survivors of Giuffre and the many co-conspirators involved within his reign. And we've talked about this group before. I'll just breeze you through who these members are that we've figured out are all working towards the same exact mission and all are friends with one another and all are adjacent to very powerful people. So this group consists of Sarah Ferguson, obviously, as well as her longtime friend and enemy of the channel, Daphne Barak, who is the cousin of the former Prime Minister of the Blue and White State, Ehud Barak, another figure who inflicted horrifying trauma upon Virginia Giuffre amongst other victims, and the same Ehud Barak who just recently wrote an article in Time magazine praising the sitting president of the United States for his work in creating peace between the Blue and White State and Gaza, but I don't know what peace we're talking about. Is the peace in the room with us right now? If you haven't watched my past coverage of Daphne Barak, I highly recommend you do. It'll tie a lot of things together for you. And Daphne was this group of women's direct line to Virginia Giuffre, as Daphne was in communication with Virginia Giuffre leading up to her untimely passing. Daphne had successfully manipulated Virginia into believing that she was on her side, when in reality, Daphne is a figure who is the cousin of Ehud Barak, one of the men whom she named as someone who harmed her as a teenager. Not only that, Daphne Barak has admitted to having a friendship with Alan Dershowitz, the Trump family, the Clinton family. And not only that, Daphne Barak is the only interviewer who Ghislaine Maxwell has ever allowed to interview her. Once right after Robert Maxwell, her father, passed away, and another time when she was in jail complaining about how she was being treated. Really, the only 2 interviews Ghislaine Maxwell ever did were given by Daphne Barak, who tried to manipulate her way into Virginia Giuffre's life. And the last thing I'll say about the relationship between these two, because I could talk about this literally for hours. Virginia Giuffre's new memoir is being released this week, and in that she details the most traumatic and horrifying events that she experienced at the hands of Giuffre and his co-conspirators, and she details one of the worst experiences she had as a teenager was when she was harmed a well-known former prime minister. And keep in mind, in past legal documentation, Virginia Giuffre has already named Ehud Barak, who is the former prime minister of the Blue and White State. And last thing, and then we'll move on to other members who are in this group. I saw something on Daphne Barak's social media the other day that made me want to flip my desk, okay? So Daphne Barak has been very open about her friendship with Sarah Ferguson for a very long time. She even credits Sarah Ferguson to saving her life, for encouraging her to get herself checked out for precancerous conditions, whatever. In this photo that she posted on her social media with Sarah Ferguson, she calls her a dear friend, a wonderful grandmother, and an extremely selfless woman. And on top of that, Daphne was going to help Sarah Ferguson create this documentary where they tried to clear Prince Andrew's name and discredit victims, something that never came to fruition. But then just a few days ago, she posts this. Horrific revelation about Sarah Ferguson, whom I liked and supported, but yet this letter, among others, is too tough to defend. I was so shocked to see it. And most recently, she posted this. How my scoops caused Prince Andrew to step down yesterday after I exposed he has maintained a very friendly communication with Giuffre. Your stories helped bring him down when you were only writing puff pieces about Prince Andrew and your friend Sarah Ferguson? Okay, but like, hello, Earth to Daphne, we can see you backtracking. Okay, you're gonna have to work a little bit harder to hide your digital footprint, sister. Another figure who is in this like middle-aged women's group of survivor discreditors is Jessica Reed Krause. Yes, the mommy blogger who wears free Ghislaine shirts around the White House. In 2023, Jessica Reed Krause of House and Habit brought Sarah Ferguson onto her page to interview her, giving her a platform to puff up her own ego and image while further discrediting victims and proclaiming her ex-husband's innocence. And this pairing up makes sense because if we look at Jessica Reed Krause's social media now, she has a habit of blaming, shaming, and discrediting victims across her social media and playing devil's advocate for every co-conspirator that she can find. Jessica Reed Krause is also a close friend of enemy of the channel, who we just talked about, Daphne Barak. So right off the bat, clear connection between those three women. Another member of these mean girls is Lady Victoria Hervey, who is the ex-girlfriend of Prince Andrew. She's also a longtime friend and defender of Ghislaine Maxwell. And Lady Victoria Hervey is a longtime friend of Sarah Ferguson. Jessica Reed Krause, you can see Lady Victoria Hervey right there. Jessica Reed Krause is over here. And Daphne Barak. Lady Victoria Hervey is a defender of Prince Andrew, her ex-boyfriend. She has gone to great lengths to try to prove that Virginia Giuffre is a liar. She is the person who started the rumor that this image of teenage Virginia Giuffre, Prince Andrew, and Ghislaine Maxwell at Ghislaine Maxwell's apartment was photoshopped. She started this rumor and she still peddles it to this day, despite multiple courts finding the photo to be completely authentic. She is also the woman who publicly celebrated when Virginia Giuffre passed away. She shared the photo of Virginia's bruised body with the caption, Karma. Lady Victoria Hervey has a long-standing reputation of being a party girl who never grew up, similar reputation that Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew have. She was regularly attending Diddy white parties, and she was one of Diddy's loudest supporters and defenders, and to this day proclaims he is innocent from any wrongdoing. Anyway, as you can see, all of these people are connected. They have all been working for years together to ensure that they are able to shift the public perception of this case so that the public does not view the victims as victims. Okay, so like I was saying, all of these people, Lady Victoria Hervey, Daphne Barak, Sarah Ferguson, and Jessica Reed Krause, are all interconnected and intertwined. They all have their separate followings, fan bases, and claims to fame, but they are all posting with the exact same intention. And their goal is to shift blame in a way that they think is palatable. But like, the people who have been aware of this case, paying attention, and trust victims see right through this, but unfortunately there are a lot of people between those figures who all believe exactly what they're saying. It's literally the same playbook that Alan Dershowitz used when he was defending Giuffre during the whole sweetheart deal fiasco. You all remember Alan Dershowitz, one of Giuffre's co-conspirators, the attorney whom Giuffre hired to defend him in his whole Palm Beach case, who was also a Harvard professor who publicly advocated for the abolishment of the age of consent laws, is he believed that 14 and 15-year-old girls were perfectly capable of deciding that they want to sleep with adults. Yes, we remember in court, Alan Dershowitz went out of his way to paint Giuffre's middle school-aged victims as consenting working women. Women of the night, if you catch my drift. Middle schoolers, by the way. So what do we get when we have members of the royal family adjacent figures, Hood Barak's cousin, mommy blogger turned MAGA mouthpiece, all working hand in hand for years now to give platforms to predators while discrediting survivors? You get an inevitable implosion from the inside out. And Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew are just the first pillar to crumble. They've known all along that they were not fighting for truth, but now the people whom they have fooled are beginning to see that now as well. And if we're being completely honest, I don't think this is news, like this information about Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew remaining loyal to Giuffre. I don't think that news should really surprise anybody. Their allegiance has remained crystal clear. And if you have not picked up on that, I really encourage you to listen to the words that they say and the things that they don't say. I really hope the scrutiny that Sarah and Andrew are now under by the public wakes the rest of these women up and they stop what they are doing. Like, it's not just the government who is intimidating survivors. It is little groups like this who are working on behalf of co-conspirators who want to remain out of trouble. It's not just the government. It's never been just the government. It's these like individual infrastructures that are being built around these powerful individuals who do not want to end up being held accountable for what they did. And I think that is happening on many different levels, on many different scales, with many different people who are in the black book, in the flight logs, in the files. People are vocally protecting predators or underplaying what they've done, try to shift blame, and behind the scenes they are just visceral to these victims. It's like this little psychological operation that these people are thrusting upon victims to make them paranoid and appear unhinged and not well. Hopefully Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew were a Jenga piece that needed to fall to cause the whole tower to topple down, but we will see what happens.